everybody's different. It's not a one size fits all. Like there's some guys who, if a woman seems too flirtatious, that's a turnoff. Like it just really depends. What's up, fam? Welcome back to our channel. My name is Tim. This is my beautiful wife, Pauline, and you're tuning in to another episode of the W Podcast, where you get wisdom in the word with the
Wheelers.
Hey, so we are so excited. We are still doing question of the day, where we answer your anonymous questions. So that's anything from love, sex, dating, anything about your love life. We would love to answer, and you can submit your question anonymously going to any of the links in our bio on any of our social media pages. So, what is the question today?
So today's question is all about what men are looking for. What do guys really want? The question reads, what are Christian/godly men actually looking for in a woman they hope to marry? I'm told by godly women in my church and community that I'm beautiful and a godly woman. I'm friendly, I'm involved in church, I smile a lot, and I'm social. But I'm consistently friend-zoned and passed over for women who seem to have a flirtier personality than I do. It's the same story every time, and I'm starting to think that I don't fit the mold of what most men are looking for, but I don't know what else to do. Please help.
I didn't even peep the I'm told by godly women part, so I'll let you handle that, because I didn't even, that went over my head when I first read it. But what I will say is nothing may be wrong with you. Like, it very well could be the environment that you're in is just not great. Maybe your man isn't there yet. Maybe he's not there at all. Maybe you're going to find somebody at another place. That's very possible. And it's also very possible that there's some things we could do to help you. So we'll get into all of that. I just want to be clear though, like there's a man out there for you. Whoever's watching this and is single, like God has somebody for you. Don't think just because you don't see anybody now means you won't see anybody ever. So please don't forget that. One question I did want to ask them though is, are there really no men who are interested in you, or is it just none of the men that you are attracted to? I'm just curious, because there's a difference between no men find me attractive and the men that I really like don't find me attractive.
The ones that you pay attention to, yeah.
Because that's a different problem if like nobody likes you, and then it's like, all right, there's just a few guys who don't like you. That's different to me. And I'm just wondering, like, could it be that you're missing out on great guys in your community because you're only looking at the guys who friend zoned you, but there's plenty of other guys who would be great fits that you're just overlooking for whatever reason. So another question that I have is, do you have any guy friends that you can get advice from? Because Pauline called it out earlier, you mentioned a lot about the women giving you feedback, but if there's any guy friends, especially because it sounds like you're saying that a lot of guys put you in the friend zone, so maybe one of them that you don't like that much, you can ask that you just want to stay friends with, be like, hey, what's going on? Like, I'm getting this vibe from guys. Is there something that I'm doing? Like, real friendship, you should be able to go to somebody and ask them that type of question.
Yeah, that's really good. If you really want to see change, is to get feedback from men instead of from women. Women, we kind of just like to tell each other a lot of encouraging things, which I love. I'm a big encourager myself, and I love encouragement. But sometimes encouragement is not what you need. Sometimes you need correction. Sometimes you need to make a change and not just someone to say, hey, keep going. You're doing great, because you're probably looking at them like, I'm not doing great because I haven't got on, what is the term you say? Don't pee on my boots and tell me it's raining.
I do not say that. That's maybe somebody's grandfather.
You say something
That's
similar
somebody's
to that.
grandfather that says that.
You say something similar to that. Or like, don't.
I told you that I heard somebody say, don't pee in my face and tell me it's raining. But that's not necessarily what I say.
It's similar. Anyway, I heard you say it enough times that I associate it with you. But it's the same thing. Like, don't tell people something just to make them feel better. And that's probably how you feel. Like, I don't want to hear this crap anymore. You're telling me I'm so great, I'm so pretty, I'm so this. Yeah, that's true. You think that, but the guys don't think that, and that's who I'm trying to attract. It's very similar to like when you're in like elementary school and like you see kids like on TV shows start getting bullied, and they're like, my mom thinks I'm special, and it's like, she has to say that 'cause she's your mom. Or like a facial your mother can love, like terms like that. But But yeah, I definitely think a very bold and helpful move you could make would be to talk to some guy friends. If you have brothers, and if you have friends that they have friends that you've known for a while and that like you trust, and sometimes your brothers can give you honest advice as well. It just depends. But yeah, get some men in your life that are honestly your age or the age of guys that you want to attract. Don't ask your dad, because he thinks you're perfect, and like your uncles and people that helped raise you. Don't ask older generations, because they're not looking at you in that way. But you want to ask the age group of the men that you are hoping to date, because yeah, guys and girls think a lot differently. So there's a lot of clothes that I like, and Tim does not like it. When we first started dating, I used to wear a lot of like puffy skirts and like big like full circle bubble skirts, and I thought they were so cute and so girly and feminine. And that's what a lot of us women think, like, oh, femininity, like guys are attracted to femininity, girls who dress cute and look very feminine, they want a woman, all those things. Tim hated those skirts and dresses that I had like that, and I really don't. They've like phased out completely of my wardrobe, but he really didn't like stuff like that. He felt like it made me look. What did you say? It was just old and
yeah, it just wasn't cute. It
wasn't sexy and like cute to him. It just was like, you look. It just wasn't cute. So yeah, guys and girls think a lot differently. I know that this is a big topic, especially when it comes to things like modesty and things like that. Of like, oh, I'm not going to dress for a man, or dress to get a guy's attention, or to dress to not be a stumbling block. And that's fine. But also, I mean, for someone like you, who you're like, I do want to know what's holding me back. You have to ask yourself, how much are you willing to change? Because of course you want to be who you are, but also you want to get results. And if you are either going to have to change the type of guys that you're interested in, or like what you're looking for, or change yourself. And I'm not telling you what to do at all, or which path to take, or at what degree you should change what you want or yourself. But if you want change, that's what it sounds like you're asking for, you are going to have to make some changes. So getting feedback from males in your life that are around your age that you trust, that are not of interest to you, would be very, very, very helpful for you, just to at least get an idea of, and maybe some understanding about like, hey, I think I'm cute, the ladies in my life think I'm cute, but they're not who I'm trying to attract, so it doesn't really matter what they think, if I'm being completely honest, because yeah, they're not who you're trying to go out on dates with. It's a tough battle, because you're gonna have to decide how feminine you want to be and what your femininity looks like for you embodying yourself, because you don't want to be fake and only dress and look and talk a certain way to get a date, because the guy's eventually going to be like, all right, well, what else? And if you were putting on a show the whole time, no one would like that. So there's ways to dress cute and dress attractive and still find your style within that. It's just going to take probably a couple of tries and like some intentionality with that, but it's totally possible. Like if you're not somebody who wears heels, and you feel like I shouldn't have to wear heels to attract a guy, okay, that's fine. You don't have to do that. But guys typically are attracted to girls who kind of stand out in certain ways. And as far as like the flirtiness goes, guys like flirtation, right? Like
some guys depending on everybody's different. It's not a one size fits all. Like there's some guys who, if a woman seems too flirtatious, that's a turn off. Like it just really depends.
Right, and that's the thing, is what the hard part is with dating, is that everything is so subjective. And one day maybe we'll do like a series where we don't do anonymous questions, so that we can actually like maybe do like live questions where we can ask you guys questions back before we give our response, because it is pretty hard to give just generalized advice that is going to actually be helpful without us knowing your specific situation. But yeah, I mean, just kind of going with that first step of like, okay, I am going to change something, whether it's the type of guys that I like, because maybe the guys that you're interested in are just trash guys and God's been protecting you.
That's a great point. Like that's very possible. Like God, sometimes we're like, oh, why isn't this working out for me? And God's protecting us. Like that's so good.
Yeah, 100%. Because at the end of the day, if you love who you are and you feel like you love your femininity and your confidence and all of those things, then of course, and you don't want to change anything about yourself, then you're gonna have to change the type of guys. Because we see that all the time too. It's like people have a certain type and that they only go after or focus on this certain type of person rather than being open to all types of people of the opposite sex that love God, and then asking the Holy Spirit, like, okay, Holy Spirit, what characteristics should I pay attention to that you want me with? Because a lot of times people say opposites attract, and that can be true, but a lot of times the type of partner that we think we want is not the type of partner we actually need, and we kind of break our own hearts by being fixated on a certain type of person because of a hobby that they're interested in, or a career path that they have, or a certain gift, or a certain look that they have. But in reality, none of those things really matter. So it could be God trying to redirect you, like, hey, instead of trying to go for guys that are like this, you should be focused on guys over here. And that may sound to you like, oh, I'm settling, God wouldn't ask me to do that. But what our idea of settling is and what God's idea of settling is oftentimes very different. So that's something to think about. On a more practical note, or another practical note, when it comes to things you're willing to change to attract guys in general, is to step more into their world. So again, you're going to need to lean on your guy friends and your guy family members in order to do this. But a lot of times, especially depending on how long you've been single and how old you are, a lot of times we're so focused on our own interests and building our own lives and investing into our own just what we like, that we don't really learn how to step into other people's worlds. And I'm sure you are nice and friendly and all those different things, but like maybe your conversations are not that strong with guys. Maybe they're not really standing out in a way, because he may feel like we don't have anything in common. Like she likes, this is such a very trivial example, but like, oh, she likes makeup and dresses, and I like dirt bikes and sports, and we don't really have anything to talk about. Even outside of Christ, like, yes, Christ is great and you should talk about Christ, but you're looking for more. A lot of guys, one of their biggest needs is companionship. So they want to feel like they can be friends with you, not just. And yes, that's because I know when people are like, "Oh, this is so hard to be a woman. You have to be feminine and be sexy and be attractive and be, guys look at you as a future mother and wife, but then also you have to be a best friend and be able to go paintballing and shoot hoops with them at the same time." And yes and no. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of guys, they're not really expecting you to go pick up basketball with them. It's more of like, just listen to me talk about it and be supportive about what I like and say, oh, that's fun, that's cool.
Yeah, or even just don't stop me from doing what I like. So if I like to go golf, if I like to play basketball, if I like to watch sports, like, don't tell me to turn the sports off because you don't like it. Like, that's a lot of people's
That's
thing.
a good point. Yeah, don't stop me, or having positive language around them.
Some guys are really into video games. Like, don't tell them, oh, yeah, grow up. It's like, that's what he likes to do. Like, there's things that you like that he may think
are stupid.
Yeah, and it's like, just love them for who they are.
Right, exactly. So just respecting, but learning how to have a conversation about it is a good start. So again, you don't have to learn how to love basketball or love video games. You don't have to, become a gamer yourself, but it's just more of like, oh, okay, you play video games, to de-stress after work. That's cool. What games do you like to play? How did you get into it? What's your favorite part? Who have you met? Like, kind of just ask questions and show that you're interested. They're just like, oh, you play video games? I don't like video games. Let's talk about something else. And because it's like, okay, well, he would look at you like, she doesn't care, so I'm not even gonna try. She's glazing over something that is important to me, that has, something that has significance in my life. So that's what I would say too, is just learn how to step into a man's world and learn how to have better conversations. Guys obviously like women who smell good. I think everybody likes a person who smells good. Guys do have different, this is kind of more superficial stuff, but like some guys do prefer certain hairstyles, and that just is what that is. Just the same way you have preferences. A lot of women prefer guys with beards. They prefer guys that are 6 feet tall. And I think it's more culturally acceptable for women to state their physical preferences. But when a guy says, oh, I like long straight hair, oh, you want me to be white, or you want me to be this, or you want me to be that, and it's like, no, I just like that. I just like that hairstyle, that's all. And you know, if that's like, some guys really prefer natural hair, and like that's it. So you have to kind of not be a hypocrite when it comes to those things. When a guy talks about, oh, I prefer a woman who wears heels, or who wears dresses, or who wears jeans, or whatever the case is, be reasonable, because you have preferences too. And I'm not saying you have to now submit to and start dressing, you know, the way that guy prefers, but just, as I said, you have to decide how much you want to change in order to fit, you know, in order to get out of this friend zone you've told us about, or you change the type of guys that you're gonna give your attention to.
Yeah, you also said, the last thing you said was, I don't know what else to do. And I just want to read this verse to encourage you, because it's actually a good place to be. The Bible says in James 1:5, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. And I think sometimes we read things in the Bible and we think it's only about spiritual stuff. It doesn't say if you need wisdom about the cherubim, or if you need wisdom about tithing. It says if you need wisdom, no qualifiers, ask our generous God and he'll give it to you. And I think sometimes we don't think about asking God about something as simple as, Lord, is there something I can be doing different to present myself to men? But literally, he knows everything. He could give you the right answer. Mm-hmm. So I definitely encourage you to spend some time, as weird as it may be. You may be uncomfortable in your flesh, like going to God, asking him about, like, how do I look for men? But
he cares.
He would love to talk to you about that. This could be a blessing, because it could drive you closer to God, and you could learn something about yourself that God told you that you never knew. So you just never know how God works all things together for your good. And this could very well be an area.
Yeah.
So this has been another episode of the W Podcast. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this video.
To get more Christian relationship advice, subscribe to our channel.
And make sure you check out our other videos as well.